Hey guys, Jason here. I want to do a little video tutorial on the Spider V240HC. Not particularly the amp, but the Spider V um, remote app for your Android or iPhone. And in my case, I'm using an Android, and there are two different cables that you're going to need for that. In the back of the amplifier, I'll turn the amplifier around so that you can see what I'm talking about. Still got all my stuff hooked up. Amp is on. But in the back, you can see, I'll blow it up a little bit. Right here to the left, it says iPhone, iPad. It takes your standard plug-in. I don't know if you can see it or not. This guy here. And then on the right, there's a switch that you can turn that's in between. It says Mac, PC, or Android. Now, that takes this, what most people are calling a printer cable. I can see if I can get it up close enough to where you guys can see it. I got this on Amazon, and it goes down to the newest Android. I think it's 2.0 or something like that for the phone. Let me get it in view there so you guys can see it. So anyway, that's the cable you're going to need for an Android, pretty much. And that's the reason why I'm doing the video, is because there isn't a lot of tutorials out there for the Android and what kind of cable that you're going to need. I got this one off Amazon for like $8. But anyway, let me turn the amp back around. Now that you know where to plug it in at. There is several really cool things about the Spider Remote app once you get the everything all hooked up. And once you sign up for a Line6 account and you register and all that stuff, and you get the account all set up, and you can actually plug your phone into the amp and open up the Spider Remote app. There is a wealth of just different tones that you can go to. No matter what kind of tone you want. There are people on the cloud that are making their own tones, or you can search out, different amp models that you may like, or say you like John Petrucci, or, Joe Satriani, or, Ola England, or, doesn't matter who it is, or even Dimebag. They got a bunch of Dimebag tones on there from just different users that have saved it to the cloud. And then when you search in the cloud, you have the choice of saving it to my tones. I actually saved an Andy LaRocque tone from King Diamond, because I'm a big King Diamond fan. But I did that one, and a couple others. I did a couple Dimebag tones, and just whatever I was searching for at the moment, just to see what was out there. So anyway, once you figure out what kind of tones you want to save those tones to my tones, and there's going to be in the details section of the remote app, you will go to details, and then you'll go to, you'll see a little disc up in the upper right hand corner, which will look like a floppy drive, like an old floppy. And then you'll be able to save that to whatever bank that is open. Usually when you upgrade the firmware, which will more than likely happen if you start using the remote app, it'll upgrade the firmware to the Spider V 240 or whatever Spider V uh, amp that you're using at the time. It will update that firmware, and then it will load all your banks with the newest tones. There's even some new Jeff Loomis tones in there. The Ola England tones are in there. Plus, like a lot of the ones that came with the Spider V originally will be in there as well. One thing that you will probably have to do if you don't like some of your tones and you want to put one of these tones on is delete one of the tones that are currently uh, as a default tone loaded into the firmware on the amplifier. There's 4 user sections that you can load those into, but once those are loaded up, if you want to put more tones in, you got to get rid of one and then in one of the other banks and then load the tone that you just downloaded into the amplifier, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put some pictures up that I've taken, some snapshots of the actual Spider Remote app, and you guys can see what I'm talking about. But it's a pretty easy app to use. Once you get everything all set up, the amp and the phone will start talking to each other, and the phone will ask you if you want to connect to the amplifier right away. And if you select that, every time you plug in your phone to the amplifier, it will link up. So it's a pretty cool app, and then the amount of content that's on there is quite a bit. Not only that, you can take a tone that you download and you can modify it in the there's another section, I can't remember what, an edit section of the app, and that'll allow you to change the effects and everything and alter it and save it the way that you want. And in fact, you can tailor your own effects and tones in that section of the app. So I think it's a pretty cool diverse amp and app that allows you to really get the most out of an amplifier that for this price range. You're talking maybe maximum for this half stack, you're talking maybe $800 to $900, maybe, I don't know, depends on where you look at it. But I mean, you think if you like a Mesa Boogie, you go out and buy a brand new Mesa, you're going to pay upwards of $2,000. You can get those Mesa tones on here, or pretty close to, and you're only paying for that one tone plus all the effects that you have to buy to put in front of the amp or a rack or whatever else that you're gonna do to that amp. This amp is so versatile with all of these tones that I couldn't pass it up. So that's pretty much what I wanted to get by you guys, was that you know uh, having the app and then this amp do all the things that it can do. You really get your bang for the buck. And I've explained this to a lot of people that have wondered what kind of amp I'm using. And I've had some hardcore Mesa people tell me that they would like to look into this for a practice amp as well. Um, so again, if you're using an Android, the one thing you're going to need is this cable that I showed you in the beginning. There are no other tutorials out there that I've seen that really get down to the bare bones, how do you hook it up, what cable do you need and stuff like that. So I'm going to end with that, and then I'll probably try to put some pictures up in the video at certain points so that you guys can see what the app looks like when it's being loaded up. So you guys take care, and we'll see you next time.